a big question people have is, are you my soulmate? And where is my soulmate? How can I tell if I have a soulmate? What is a soulmate? And certainly so many people have different definitions of what a soulmate is. Uh, I think the idea a long time ago is that from one of the Greeks is that our soul had two parts, and that we come to Earth looking for the other part, and through finding the other part of our soul, we begin to experience a fulfillment that you cannot experience if you don't find the other part of you. So there's like a longing and a searching for that someone. Who is that someone? And what does that someone look like? I love that image that we're looking for someone, other part of who we are. Now, the truth is, we are whole beings within ourselves, but we come into this incarnation my soul comes in a male body, not a female body. And for a woman, her soul is coming in a female body. And part of the dance of growth is self-discovery, self-realization, understanding yourself, loving yourself. And so part of it is to love myself as a male. But where's the other part of my soul? This is the masculine part of my soul. Well, I found my wife, Bonnie, and she is an expression of the female part of my soul. And through loving her, through overcoming resistance to her, I overcome my own resistance to embracing my female side into a male body, which means that I'm both masculine and feminine in this body. So that's the real sort of practical plumbing level, so to speak, of what goes on in a soulmate relationship is we come to Earth with a shadow over half of who we are, in a sense. And it's through finding someone and learning to love them that we're able to bring that part of us into ourself through loving them, because they represent that. They represent everything inside of me that needs to grow. So a soulmate relationship is where you get to grow. And I've mentioned before that there's twin soul, because everybody would say Bonnie and I, we're like twins. We had, particularly the last 10 years of our marriage, so much harmony and so much great sex and such a fulfilling life. And there wasn't a neediness, but we needed each other. And that's a dance of the outcome of learning relationship skills. Now, it took me a long time. It took me, again, that's around 23 years before I really became embraced fully my female side through her. And that's why I can talk about this. So many people think that for men who are way on their male side to become whole, they need to go to their female side. And if you go to your female side, now you're stuck over in your female side. And for women to find your wholeness, your power as your masculine side, as you go over to your masculine side to find it. But you leave your female side behind. There's no integration. And so we don't integrate the two parts of who we are. So what I discovered is that I didn't have to do things to get in touch with my female side or become more feminine. I was on my masculine side. That's what I needed to hold on to and love my wife because through loving her and literally physically entering her and loving her, finding a oneness with her, she is an expression of, and through loving her, I find my female side, but I'm over here on my male side loving her. And she's over on her female side, loving me and finding the qualities of my masculine side inside of her, as she was able to give up resistance to embracing me, to letting me in. And yeah, in the beginning of a relationship, you fall in love, you go, oh, yeah, I can let you in. That's great. But then you hit those points where you want to push them out. You want to push them out. And that's where you're pushing out your own masculine side, not making peace with your masculine side, not integrating your masculine side, not loving your masculine side. The person that your soulmate is this perfect person that will push your buttons to help you grow. And do you need your buttons pushed to grow? Yes, you do. Because there's a place where we're one with the universal energy of the God. We are that we're made up of everything that everything's made of. We're all one on one level, and yet we have our own individuality. And finding our individuality is I have two parts to me. And when I find those two parts and integrate them, there's an experience of wholeness. And it's the same wholeness of the universe, kind of like a hologram, as I'm saying that word, thinking about a hologram. Hologram is just a flat thing, but it generates a whole picture. And you can take any little piece of the hologram and put it over here, and it will generate the whole picture. We're all a piece of the whole. As above, so below, as in you, so in me. But we all have our own unique journey to experience our wholeness. And it's not that we can't grow in life. And many people, I just have to say, we have different stages of life. We have different destinies in life. But some people, if you feel it in your heart that you want to find a soulmate, that's who I'm talking to today, because their fulfillment comes through being in a personal relationship. I mentioned last week how I had lost a lot of money in the stock market. Thank goodness I made it all back and more. But they've made some mistakes, didn't understand my formula. I'm working on a system here. But I felt the loss, but that loss didn't have the full impact of being able to connect it fully to the vulnerable child who felt like a failure, who felt like he wasn't perfect. He felt like he was a disappointment to his mother when I knocked my teeth out. And she went, "Oh my gosh, you're no longer that beautiful little boy." And I wasn't. I mean, putting little points on my teeth, So, but the child takes that as feeling like I have failed, even though it's something that happened to me, still feels it's my fault. And so not loving myself. So being able to share that level of vulnerability with your soulmate, with someone who loves you, in a personal relationship, allows you to go more deeply into fully feeling that childlike self. It's hard to process the depths of your issues that you're here in this world to process and learn from and grow from and find love regardless of what happens. If you're just out there on your own, or you're doing it with your therapist, now that you can do it with a therapist, you can do it in a group, with people. There's no question about that, but it takes a lot of skill from the therapist to help you go through that. But to be able to do that, in your own personal life with someone who loves you, in a personal, physical connection, you can go so much deeper, because simply being in the presence of another person when you're sharing your vulnerability, there's certain hormones that get produced. There's the physical safety of someone being present for you. There's the estrogen that gets produced, the feeling of the need, as opposed to just needing yourself. And that's okay. That's okay. But we're talking about one of the benefits of soulmates is you can go so much deeper, and it's so much easier. It's smooth if you have the skills to do it, and you've built up the trust and the caring in your relationship to get there. So soulmate is someone you feel tremendously attraction towards. In many cases, just something inside of you doesn't know what it is. It's like a magnet. You're pulled towards them. Now, the challenge here is you can also be pulled towards the wrong people who are not your soulmates. But in a sense, they're your temporary soulmate. They're going to give you a lesson to learn.